Hi, I'm Irene, and these are not my pens. Most of these have appeared on this channel before, but they're actually from the personal collection of producer Mike, who is in the studio today to talk about them.
Yes, this is my private collection. I personally curated them, and the criteria was I was trying to find some pens under 20, but the actual criteria it ended up being under $21. So showing that you could get a nice set of pens together and without having to spend thousands of dollars.
So, your reasoning when you picked these pens was basically it was an experiment to see that you can get into the pen hobby without spending an arm and a leg.
Yes, because I saw people bragging about some of their fancy pens, and I kind of thought $1,000 was kind of ridiculous. So when I started seeing that there was pens out there that were a lot less than that, I was curious as to how well they wrote, and if they were worth it at all. My evil plan was to let you try them out on the channel and get your opinion as well as my opinion. So as I believe you mentioned in the beginning, yes, some videos have been done on the majority, if not all, of the pens.
So you started
On the
this. You started this after I had already acquired a couple of pens, right?
Yes. And I was kind of thinking, I'd get my own little set of pens going because I have to get in on the action. And you'd be able to show them off and let other people see different kinds of pens that are out there.
But you didn't want to go quite as cheap as I went with my pens.
No, I wanted to go a little bit higher.
A little bit higher, okay.
But you were happy with those pens,
Yeah,
even at that your
absolutely.
first pens. Yeah, you didn't have a problem with. So it doesn't take a lot of money to have fun with fountain pens. That's what my point is, I guess.
Okay. So the first pen that was demonstrated there
that was
the
it's a Jinhao
X450.
Yes, the X450. I have no idea what the numbers mean, but I like the look of it.
Yeah.
It was a green and gold. It looked nice together. And then Irene put a nice green, dark green ink in it, which really looks cool too with the green pen. So.
Right. And so this one now, the second
so the
pen.
Jinhao 100, again, I was trying to figure this out. The prices don't make sense, right? You have a 450, an X450, and a 100. There's no rhyme or reason to the numbers as far as I could tell. But I like the look of it. Again, these are more of a classic look pen, what I consider to be like a classic, I guess maybe a Parker or something pen or something like
Schaefer.
Schaefer or whatever. And again, the price is a lot less than what I think those pens are anywhere from 60 to thousands of dollars, right? So I was just curious how it compared and if it was worth spending the money on.
So I noticed there that this one is this is the only one over $20.
And I was curious why.
Yeah. Is it $1 more better
than
exactly. the $20 one?
Yeah, is it, or considering that the first pen was $12 and this one's $21, so this is, what, $11 more or whatever?
Okay.
So I was curious, is it that much better, right? What does your money get you? Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Look at the stains.
Yeah.
So I had prepared.
You didn't polish them off.
Yeah, I had prepared the pens. I had cleaned them out, filled them up with ink, and in the process, I kind of got a little worse for wear on the fingers.
Yeah, so don't worry about it.
Okay. So this one is the third pen.
So the third one was the Jinhao 500. So is this one, a little bit better than the 450? I don't know, but I like the way the number 2 pen wrote, which is the 100. It wrote fine.
Yeah.
They all write fine. I don't know an awful lot about fountain pens, but I don't have a lot to complain about in writing with them. Some of them have sometimes have problems being spotty, but I think once you warm the pen up, you don't have that problem.
Sure, and as long as it writes, you probably don't have a lot of complaints if it's maybe has more or less feedback than other ones, or I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, one of them seemed a little more scratchier when you write with it, but they all write fine. They look nice. It's fun to write with a fountain pen, of course. It's something different. It's kind of old school, even more old school than me. I never had fountain pens as a kid. So
Yeah, why is
you
that?
know,
We never really got into
I think
that
it's
when
because it was messy, right? Nobody wanted to deal with the mess. But,
It's a bit of a hassle, maybe. To
yeah,
I mean,
but it wasn't. It just wasn't
honestly,
part of our culture.
it didn't seem like an option.
Yeah,
It didn't even enter into the possibility of.
Yeah, I think at that point the erasable ballpoint pen was really big, right?
The erasable.
Remember when we were in junior high?
Oh, this one.
So this is the fancy. I thought this was fancy. I liked it because of the wood. It has that gunmetal steel look to it. It's a
Martinello.
Martinella.
Martinello.
Yeah, that sounds fancy, Martinello.
But
like
yeah, it's
cider,
different.
Sparkling cider. But yeah, it has a very warm feel to it. It's not plastic. The other ones are kind of a plastic, or they call it acrylic, or there's a couple other names, celluloid, different names for it. But this one just, I don't know, it had a neat feel, and it does write very nice. So not only does it look good, it writes really good. It's not too heavy. It's got a nice balance to it.
And that's interesting because almost all of these had a certain amount of weight to them.
Yes, yeah, they're not skimpy pens, I guess, or skinny pens.
Yeah,
they're sizable.
Yeah.
So
Now, for me personally, this was the most enjoyable one for me to write with.
Yeah.
The Martinello. It was just, I don't have any complaints really about the other ones, but this one just kind of stood out as just being really enjoyable to write with. And I'm not really, I wouldn't call myself a fan of heavy pens, but it didn't bother me to write with these pens, any of these pens that were quite heavy. Well, to me, they felt heavy.
Yeah, I'm kind of size.
This one.
Yeah, this is the unique one out of the group. This I was curious to try. I'd heard a lot about the Fude tips. This is a Duke 209, and it's a bent nib, or a Fude is the term that's used. So it's a little different from the other pens. The other ones were a medium and fine tip, or this, I don't even know where it comes in, maybe at a 1 millimeter thickness or something, but it's definitely a lot thicker, but a different shape too.
But look at how small.
But the size is nice. So Irene and I kind of talked about if you could change the nib on it, which I think it's possible, but the company do make a regular nib as well.
Yeah.
But
to me,
you can buy it in a different tip.
And it was so nice to post this because the inside has a soft lining of some sort where you post it and it just slips on and it sticks.
Yeah,
and
it holds it in nice.
It's very nice.
So you don't feel like the cap's going to come off.
Right. And it doesn't feel like it's going to scratch the barrel or anything.
Yeah, it's noticeably thicker. You can see that. It's fun. It really shows the color. If you're doing colored inks, it will show off the ink. But I think another thing, I think Irene kind of said it would be good for like if you're doing like a headline.
Yeah,
like a headline or something, something where you're writing
like
bigger.
If I were to reach for a Sharpie and make a note for someone,
take out the trash,
so,
empty the dishwasher.
That's what I would use.
You would grab that pen.
But I can see how it can come into play with art.
Yeah, if you were sketching, I think like looking right there, even at the leaves you did there, it definitely looks like you could have more fun sketching with it.
It all depends on
how
you like to do art. But
it I don't know. I just thought it'd be interesting to experiment with. I think at the time when I bought this pen, you didn't have any fancy tips or anything. I don't even know if we had the glass tips at that point.
Right.
So it was just something to throw into the mix that you could talk about.
But because of the fat line it lays down, I would love to put some sort of special ink in there, like a sheening ink.
Where it
shimmer
shows
ink
it off.
or something.
Yeah. Which, we haven't really, we talked about this earlier, we haven't really got into inks. Inks is a whole nother video.
Right.
We'll do that in the new year. Yeah, because on top of the fun of the different pens, there's also tons of different
But
inks.
look how elegant that looks.
But yeah, it's a very
it's very
simple,
slim, lightweight.
yeah, it wouldn't weigh down your pocket. It's not like you're carrying a 20-pound barbell. It's.
Now, tell me about your other. There's another pen.
Yes. Oh, I do have one more pen in my collection, which I call my everyday carry, or EDC, and that is a Hongdian Black Forest, and it is an all metal pen. And again, it's a little heavier, but it's not as thick as these three of these five. So in the grouping here, it's closer in between the Martinello and the Duke as far as size goes, and it's more even. It's not tapered, but I really like it. It is actually my favorite pen. And it also, if I remember correctly, was under 20 as well.
Yes.
It was only $16 or $17.
Yes.
And I believe Irene did a video on that too. So it should be in the playlist.
Yes.
Or possibly if we find it, we can link, we'll put it just in the description.
And that is the Hongdian Black Forest.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is a nice pen too. It's an all metal pen.
Okay.
But yeah, and then moving, of course, I had to get a case to put all my pens in because I was going to have this collection of pens. So I found this affordable case on Amazon, I believe around $13 to $15. And it allowed me to keep the pens in there, and Irene could also use it as content in the channel to show, if you are doing a pen collection, you could actually have to store multiple pens.
Yeah, and this has room to grow,
yes,
too.
And so it's got 12 total, and it does have a divider in between. But yeah, so there's room to grow, room for 6 more. And then my personal EDC carry pen, the Hongdian, has its own a sheath or pouch.
Single sleeve.
A single sleeve that I keep it in my backpack along with a notebook. So I do use it more often than these pens. In fact, I think Irene's used these pens more than I have. In showing it off and also filling it and cleaning them and experimenting with them herself. But it's a nice little pouch. There's a lot fancier ones out there. There's simpler ones. There's ones that are printed with colorful things on it. So.
Oh yeah, and I've researched some of the other options too, and there's some really nice ones out there. Of course, you pay a lot.
So like anything, there's all different price ranges.
Yeah, that was fun. Okay. Thanks to producer Mike for sharing his personal pen collection with us.
And thank you all for watching. And remember to like, subscribe, and share with other people you think who might be interested in this type of content.
I think the fountain pen hobby has a reputation for being expensive.
Yes.
And it certainly can be.
And snobby, maybe.
Snobby.
But it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
If you want to experiment with, if you're journaling and you want to have a fun pen to journal with, or you want to feel fancy when you write a letter to somebody, it's not that expensive to buy a pen.
Yeah. I mean, and there are inks that are budget friendly too, as well. So, all you need is paper, pen, and ink. Yeah. So hopefully that gave you a taste of some affordable fountain pen options for anyone looking to get into the hobby.
So don't be scared. It's an easy entry. Easy entry point.
Yes,
it's not
easy entry.
Yeah,
yes.
Under $20. My goal of the under $20 is because $20 is not a lot of money, I think, especially nowadays. So if you can get into something, you can probably find there are inks out there, so you could get a pen and ink for probably under $20.
Oh yeah.
So
I mean, because my first entry level pens were like, I got some $2 pens.
Yeah, so it is very possible so you don't have, with a little bit of money you can have fun. If we haven't sold it yet, my gosh.
And yes, I'll put in the description my playlist for fountain pens and inks. So you can check out the previous
operators
videos.
are standing by. Anyways, thanks again, everyone.
Until next time, stay pen and inky.
Stay pen and inky.